Hello and welcome to Athena's Creations. I'm Athena Turk, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator since 2017. Welcome to my live on Facebook in Athena's Creations or later on YouTube, Athena's Creations 2017. Tonight or tomorrow, whenever you're watching this, I'm so excited to share with you this idea that I've had for a while, and I've finally figured out all the measurements, and I'm going to share it all with you this evening, along with a little sneak peek of what's to come November 4th. As a demonstrator, we get lots of different perks, and one of them is being able to see new product before anybody else and be able to order it. So it's pretty exciting. And also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention, there is a fantastic, like never before seen, great sign up. So if your wish list, if you are going to order $35 or more, don't order, just join my team, because for $35 you can pick out 125 of product of your choice, get free shipping, join a team that's fun. We meet once a month, we have dinner, we talk shop, but we also share inspiration with each other and a bunch of other demonstrators that we get together with once a month. And so you would be a part of that fantastic team as well. So yes, if your wish list is, $198 or something like that, there's even a second option. So you could, for $99, pick out 198 of your choice, $198 worth of product of your choice, and only pay $99. Free shipping and all the perks. And if you like what you see tonight on the sneak peek, you could actually put that in your cart and order it now. So I just got it. I haven't had time to play with it because I've been working on this really fun project. I always like to do some kind of Christmas manger scene, and this is what I've come up with using A Child is Born, which is brand new to the mini catalog. I didn't order this right away. I was kind of not sure what to think about it. But then, of course, there have been some other people wiser than me who mentioned that the reason there's no faces is kind of like the willow tree. There's no faces on the willow tree figurines. This is a mother and son. I've had this one for years. And it's just beautiful quality work. I don't know if it's wood. I'm not real sure. I should look that up. But that's kind of what it's like. So don't be alarmed when you see there's no face, because that's kind of what it is. And there's lots of beautiful things to be done with this stamp set. It's a standalone stamp set. And this was what I came up with, a Tealight votive. So this will be really nice for decoration, be a nice gift to give somebody, the relative who has everything, doesn't need anything, doesn't want anything. Well, handmade gifts are the perfect solution. So let's go ahead and get started, because I have some preview to share with you as well. And I want to give me just 1 second. Pardon that mess there as I get this camera so that it's right on top of our project. It's kind of hard to show off the Tealight with all the lights. I'll probably post later in our Facebook group and on my social media the still shots, and I'll do it with the light turned off so that you can actually see how wonderful it looks. Okay, I think that's going to work. All right, so if I haven't mentioned it, thank you so much for joining, either live or on the replay later. This is really, really simple. Now, I had contemplated using some of the new product I'm about to show you to, put this on here, but I wasn't real sure. I kind of really wanted this to just be simple and it's elegant. Part of some of the new things that are available is what's called all season velvet. So there's red, green, and white velvet. I die cut out the doves. It's got a nice soft velvety touch. I thought about maybe putting that there, kind of like so. And you can. I just really think it stands out just like this. I really like it a lot. And also you can stamp on and color in. This is just my first shot go at it, using that velvet paper. So this will be kind of fun for kids, especially if you're doing something that's textured, or you're giving a special kiddo, you know, something with texture like that. And then you put the little buttons and stuff. Oh, that would be so perfect. So just wanted to share that little tidbit with you. And moving on, part of what enabled me to complete this idea that I had was that, guess what? Vellum is back in the Stampin' Up! On November 4th. Now you can put this in your starter kit. It's 12 by 12, and you get 12 of them. I think it's like $10 or something like that. And so that's a lot of vellum that you can use, and it's perfect for projects just like this, right? And we're going to get to that in just a minute, but the sneak peek. Just for reference, they've changed how they're going to do the stamps. So number one, it's going to be photopolymer stamps, which we all know is my absolute favorite. I just love being able to see wherever I stamp. I love to be able to see that. And so currently they come in this little like DVD case, and it's got, you know, all the stuff right there. It tells you how many are in there. Now the new one is in this really nice flat packaging material with nothing in it. It's very smooth. It's really nice. There's, you know, there's nothing that's going to cut your fingers. It's a soft plastic. It's really, really nice. However, I wasn't real sure because I'm so used to this one. And then, of course, when I get a stamp set that has dies, what I've done is I put the dies in here with the magnetic sheet. I'm undecided if I'm going to totally switch over or just keep what I've got like this, and then just as I ordered new, it'll be in these little containers. This, just to give you a point of reference, this is a harder plastic. I don't think you could cut yourself on it as well, but just for reference, this is the difference, right, in the two. So there's, you know, it's going to be smaller. And I've checked if you have a DVD case for your storage, it'll fit on your shelf flat. And you can get twice as much on your shelving. It's going to cut down on space. So if you're like me and you order a few things here and there and you don't get rid of a lot of stuff too quickly, it builds up, and so you sort of run out of room. This is a great space-saving idea. Now this one, I'm a little, like I said, I was unsure, and I'm still not sure if I'm going to keep this particular stamp together like this. And the reason why I'm unsure if I'm going to do that, because clearly you can use this for scraps of different papers and stuff. Like I always have, or I usually have on my desk, a few extra pieces of paper and things. This would be great to store in along with your cardstock and such. But this one, I just wanted for a point of reference to share with you. It's we've got 14 stamps. It's big enough you can read it. So there's this is another one of those. It's brand new product. You're gonna want it, I guarantee you. The price point is a little bit better too, because normally we were looking at upwards of $45, $50 for some bundles. But this one is a punch bundle, and it has 14 stamps and the punch for $38. The price is so much better because there's less packaging. So there's some pros and cons, and honestly, I wasn't sure how I felt about the change, but gosh, you know, that's the one constant in life is change, right? Even if we don't like it. As we get older, we don't like change, but it's inevitable. And then another point of reference too, to share off the new product. This is what the actual stamp set looks like, even though it's come in this big packaging. I'm kind of thinking I might put this one in a smaller folder, because I do keep all of my folders that you know we've gotten in the case. They've come in the smaller flat. The way my storage works for me, I love this idea, but I'm thinking about consolidating this even further. So I don't know. These are great sayings, and this is a small. I could do a lot with that. But again, I'm undecided, and so until I figure it out, I'm just going to keep this all together just like that. But I wanted to show you what that looks like. And then one other little sneak peek, and this is all in one, because for me, it's even better to have your dies and your stamp set together. And so I just consolidated all into one. This is product that will be available in November the 4th for everybody. I love the great outdoors. I love everything to do with nature and hiking and all the fun things. But yeah, again, just for a point of reference, what the actual stamp is, it's really close to what's pictured. And then the stamp set. And they all come, you know, with this thin backing, and then this is like a window sheet, and that's actually what I started to use, was a window sheet for my project tonight, and then I changed it. And then of course what's new is the dies are coming in the same packaging, and you'll have a picture of what the dies look like. So that's really nice. This is a new piece at Outdoor Adventures, and I fit them, I consolidated them down a little bit. Now this right here, the mountain thing, you could have big mountains or you could have little mountains. I'm really excited to play with this one. It almost looks like a little ticket. I don't know, that could be a fox or a multitude of different possible little critters. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that I decided with this one that I wanted the stamps and the dies together. And it's definitely going to be a space saver. And I'm just going to put all of these together in one, which will give me one more to, like I said, probably put some of my scraps in. Because if you're like me, you like to keep all your little pieces because you never know when you're going to need a little tiny piece. And in that regard, we've got this new punch that you can use up some of your little pieces. Let's see, I thought I had that. I must have put it up. I tried to clean, and then of course I realized, what did I do with that sample that I was going to share? But anyway, yep, it's not over here. All right, but anyway, so we've got this punch, the banners, and I use this a lot, this size here. And I just think these are really, really nice. You could probably use these with multiple stamp sets. In fact, even though this one doesn't have a stamp die or anything, as you can see, I was able to stamp Oh Holy Night and then punch it right out. So there's always lots of great possibilities with new product, using it with current product and all of that. So that's it for the sneak peek for now. Vellum is back. I absolutely love it. This is my sample, which I realize normally my samples are, you know, not put together. I totally forgot. So I made myself a note. It's important to be sure to die cut before you adhere all the pieces. And then I did like a little window sheet, which is, like I said, part of what comes with the stamps now, the photopolymer. So the red rubbers, I guess the vendor's no longer available or something like that. So anyway, let's get started on this one. And of course, I'm going to share all the measurements and everything with you and all the tips and things, because I didn't have any problems or issues, but I did come across a couple of things that I realize now, you know, I wanted to go ahead and share. So these are the measurements. I don't know if you want to do a screenshot or how you want to do that, but I'll tell you as well. I'm calling this the Tealight display box because it is kind of a nice, you know, box with a little votive Tealight in the middle. And then, of course, this gorgeous, gorgeous paper that's part of the Peace on Earth suite in our catalog. Love it. I went ahead and for the DSP lid, it's a piece of 6x6 cardstock. So you can literally get 4 pieces from a piece of 12x12 cardstock. And then you just score it on all 4 sides. And again, before you do anything else, you want to use whatever die cut that you're going to do for the middle. And then we can cut and put it together. Yes, the vellum is new. So if you use a window sheet or the vellum like I did here, it's going to be 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. Now this thick, I'm using thick white, and I realize I probably could use Secret C, the new cardstock in color, but I went ahead and just went with the thick white for the cardstock base, and it is 6 15/16 by 6 15/16. So that's a mouthful. Basically, 6 15/16 is this little notch right here. So you're looking at 7 back 1 is the 6 15/16. That's hard to say. So 7 back 1. And then you're going to score at 1 inch on all sides. Hopefully that makes sense. Excuse me. Now we're going to go ahead and cut this out, and then we're going to stamp and slowly assemble, because I got a few things that I wanted to share. Some of the pointers, the things that I did, because it seems like this one is kind of tight, and I double checked my measurements, and I'm thinking that I didn't make sure that the enclosure was tight enough on the bottom, which is what I'm going to make sure I do on this one, because the top fits on the top, or yeah, the lid fits on top of the base. Said that strangely. And then before we adhere everything, we're going to situate the box so that I get the correct up and down, because that's another problem I almost had with that one. Hopefully it'll make more sense here in a minute. So basically this is the long side and this is the short side. So I'm just going to, up to that score line, cut there on both sides. And then I'm just going to, on this little side, do a little notch just right there, like that. I'm doing this on top of the white so you can see. So we'll do that notch just like that. We're going to do that on both sides. So then just flip your paper and cut up to that score line. And just a tiny little notch, approximately 1/8 of an inch at an angle, just like that. And of course, my favorite dies, they came out in the spring and I resisted getting them thinking, oh, they're not gonna be around long enough. I don't really need those. Well, I've seen so many amazing projects using the Arch dies that I'm like, yeah, I need those. And so I think the whole suite is on that last chance list, but the dies are still available. Or actually, I think they might be on a temporarily unavailable, I should say. They're everyday Arches dies. You get 10 of them. And so this particular one, it's, let's see, the smallest is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the 5th one from the smallest. So I'll give you a real good idea of which one I used. And I'm holding on to these because although I'm not real keen on that side, I do love the stars. And we've got some beautiful doves. So I don't know. I'm going to play around with these for sure. And I always use my little clear bags to put all my little odds and ends, as I call them, from this particular suite. So when I get it out to play again, there might be a dove already, you know, die cut out or something that I could use. You just never know. So I keep stuff in a bag like that. All right, so then we're going to go ahead. Basically the same thing for this one that we did on the front. We're just going to cut up to the score line on each side. And then on that flap, we're just going to do that tiny little notch right there. Approximately 1/8 of an inch. And this is going to be our bottom, or the backing, I guess I should say. And then again, just a tiny little notch right there. And I always share measurements just because, gosh, it takes me forever to figure things out. And, you know, this one, it was trial and error because I Like I said, I double checked the measurements and it's correct. I don't like the 15/16 and all of those, but you know, for some projects you just need that. And here I go fiddling again with this tripod that my phone is on, but hopefully it won't move again. I don't know. All right. So I did all that. What I should have done was burnish, because that's important too. All of the score lines, especially on this paper that is the thick white. And on any 3D item, if I can, I do try to do the thick white. Let's see. And it's going to be a little tight, because that's thick, thick paper. And I probably should, like I said, I probably should have done that first. But it still works out just fine. Just make sure it's nice and burnished. Okay. And we're going to put that one together in just a second. And again, we want to make sure, because this is designer paper and it's not real thick like that thick white is, you can just use your fingers to burnish the score lines. I'm thinking I may have already done that, because I needed to put that through the die cutting machine. Always want to make sure you do that step. Now this one, we're basically just going to, if you flip it, we're going to put adhesive on all 4 flaps, if you will. I'm just going to do one at a time. And you're basically going to bring it in and then just pinch it nice and tight. Same thing. Bring that in nice and tight. You can use tear and tape, which I highly recommend. And you can, of course, use a liquid glue, because you have a couple of seconds before it sets. Here we go. And just make sure it's nice and pinched. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off just for a minute. Yeah, my first measurements were just a tad off, but I double checked these. It should be fine. Now, when I was playing around with this one, let me just share with you what I did. I went ahead and stamped on a separate piece of paper, piece of cardstock, because I originally was just going to put it in here and then just have the window sheet, but then you could see the votive candle. And it was like, well, and then I got my pre-order, the vellum that's back, and well, you can actually stamp on vellum. I originally had it like that, which looks good, but I think it's just a little more refined with the vellum. So I'm going to show you that we can stamp on the vellum. And then I do have the window sheet that I'm going to put in first. And to me, it just, when you put in the window sheet, it just has that final touch, so it doesn't smear. It'll be fine on the vellum, but sometimes if you're not careful, vellum can smear when you stamp on it. And I just thought it was a nice refining touch to just go ahead and have that window sheet in there. And I stamped because I thought I would use that one. So no worries, those will be used on something else later. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and put my window sheet in. And I'm basically going to put a little bit of adhesive around the edges. And then if you have any that are peeking over, you can just tuck them back behind there because you don't want any sticky on the front. Just tuck it behind, just like that. I did it on purpose to share that with you. Just a little bit is all you need. Glue dots would work as well. And then next we're going to stamp. Yeah, just thought about something. Okay. All right, let's see. We're going to use our brand new in color Secret C. And this is one of those stamps that's pretty big. So anything on, for me, on a E block or bigger, I will have my stamp flat on my desk, and I would bring my ink pad to my stamp. And I love photopolymer because I can see where I'm stamping. Make sure there's plenty of ink. And then bring your stamp directly onto the vellum. Hold it in place. Apply some pressure so that the ink will soak in. Then you lift it up and you're going to let it dry because it's going to be a little wet for a few seconds here. And while that's drying, we're going to go ahead and attach the sides for the top of our box. One might be out. There's one side. There's another. And that one, and one last piece. All right. Now, before we attach the image, remember we've got our window sheet. We're just going to put our lid on top. That one does fit much better. Okay. So now we're going to put that on the inside. And for this one, this is where I'm going just a little slow. What I need to do is, before I put that in, I know that's exactly how it's going to fit. I'm going to go ahead and just put some glue dots on each corner so that when the vellum is put into place, that will hold it. Otherwise, it'll fall back onto the Tealight. That happened to me when I was playing around with this idea. It was like, well, I need to adhere it a little bit better. And I think, did I tell you what the measurements are? So for the vellum piece, 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. By now, your vellum should be dry. And then we've got our 4 glue dot pieces. And there's a little residual, so it should be okay. So we'll go ahead and turn our Tealight on. and just sit it right like that. And then place this lid just like so. And there it is. That's how easy that is. And this same concept can work for any of your dies. It could work for any designer paper that you want to use, any stamp set. Oh, the best part. We're not quite done. Off to the left, I have a bunch of these tiny little pieces of the star. So we want the star to be right up at the top. So what I'm going to do is, you can do a glue dot, or these flat adhesives are perfect. Just like that. And this is a window sheet, so we're going to pick it up with our, take your pick tool. Oops. Try that one more time. It doesn't want to stay. Okay. There it is. And that's how easy that is. I'm going to make sure the bottom is nice and tight. You can see my box is just, there was extra on the edge that it could have been tighter, like flush as close as possible, but it still works. Just a nice tight fit right there. Nice little box. Now you could also do the same concept, the same idea in all the dimensions, and you could have the window showing without any vellum piece, and instead of a tea light, you could fill this with lots of fun goodies and then top it off with, you know, a bow or something real pretty. So you could put all kinds of treats and fun things like that, right? I mean, there's a lot of room in this little box. So there's lots of possibilities with this design. I just decided to do the tea light. And that is what we had planned for this evening. And I wanted to share all that pre-stuff with you and everything. So if you have any questions, just reach out and I'll be happy to answer any questions. We do have 4 confirmed for Saturdays all day. And we've got lots of projects planned. Not this one, but there's lots of 3D items that we're going to be doing, and I'm going to be taking pictures and posting. It's going to be so much fun. So we do have some room for a couple more. So reach out no later than by tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, because I'm going to be spending a lot of time cutting more paper and getting things ready. So hope you enjoyed the tea light. I'm curious to see what you guys come up with. It's just as simple as that. Nice tight fit. Voila. So there you have it, our project for tonight. Normally I do several, but this one I just wanted to take my time and go over the measurements, what to do, what not to do, and all of that. And so hopefully you will be able to do something very similar. Maybe you have a different stamp set that you want to use, a Bethlehem scene or something like that. That would be really cool as well. Thank you again for joining me next week. My husband surprised me and he's taking me to a concert, so I won't be live next week, but we'll be back on the 30th for some more fun. Happy stamping.